Hey, and welcome to Board with Life News for August 9th. Today I'm going to talk about Fallout the board game, Queen Domino, Firefly Adventures, Dominion Nocturne, an expansion for Flamme Rouge, and the Kickstarter for Visitor in Blackwood Grove. Let's get to it. Hey, I'm Chris. Welcome to Board with Life News. It was a super busy week in board game news because Gen Con's next weekend, so a bunch of stuff got announced as kind of surprise announcements for Gen Con. Also, I missed a little bit of news last week because I did my top 10 most anticipated games coming out at Gen Con 2017 list, so definitely go check that out if you haven't already, if you're interested in kind of the new hot stuff. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be at Gen Con this year. I'm going to Essen, so all of my kind of time and money for cons went towards that. But, yeah, I'm bummed I don't get to go to Gen Con, but that's what happens. Alright, on to board game news. Fantasy Flight announced Fallout the board game. This was a big kind of surprise announcement that happened yesterday. They said that they're going to be previewing it at Gen Con, so it won't be available, but you can like see all the pieces and that kind of stuff. It's a game for 1 to 4 players, and you're going to be exploring the wasteland, as obviously it's Fallout. And you can explore cooperatively, or you can like split off on your own, that kind of thing. It's got really nice miniatures, and it seems like it's got some sort of story-building elements that look almost like crossroad cards when you reveal certain things, if you've played Dead of Winter, if you're familiar with that. But honestly, all in all, the game looks really dry for how cool a theme it is, and that's coming from a person who likes dry Euro games and doesn't care about theme, but it feels almost like a missed opportunity because Fallout is a really cool like world, and I don't know, like just walking around and it doesn't seem that interesting. But we'll see. I haven't played it. I have no idea. It might be great. Blue Orange Games announced Queen Domino. This is a standalone expansion for the Spiel des Jahres winner from this year, King Domino. You can either play it, obviously, as a standalone game where it'll function a lot like King Domino, except it has knights and dragons in it. It says the knights get you coins. I don't know what coins do, and I have no idea what the dragon does. Or it can be combined with the base game so that you can play the base game up to 6 players, or you can play with up to 4 players building 7x7 grids instead of 5x5 grids. So it seems interesting. I'm a big fan of King Domino. I don't know if I want 7x7 grids because part of the reason I love King Domino is it's so quick, so just making it longer but more of the same doesn't seem that great. But playing with 6 players does seem great because it plays really quick, so you could actually do it with 6 players. So that's that. Gale Force 9 announced Firefly Adventures, Brigands, and Browncoats. This is the 3rd Firefly game. There have been a decent number of Firefly games coming out recently, and some of them have been pretty good. This is a 1 to 5 player co-op skirmish game, so like Descent or Star Wars Imperial Assault, that kind of thing. All the main characters come with their own miniatures, and they have an interesting twist where they actually come with 2 miniatures, and depending on which miniature you use kind of changes the game a little bit, where the different miniatures for the same characters have different abilities, and you have your heroic miniature and your casual miniature, and if you're playing with the heroic one, you attract more attention from other things in the game. I don't know. Other things in the game. So that seems like an interesting kind of slight twist on the normal skirmish game. So I'm excited to try this one out. Dominion is getting its 11th expansion in Dominion Nocturne. This is going to add, it seems like, vampires and werewolves and nighttime things, which seems pretty fun and weird for the Dominion universe, but I'm down with it. The most interesting thing I read about it is it's going to have night cards, which are a new type of card that can be played after the buy phase. So there seems like there's a ton of potential to like add a whole lot of new interesting things by doing that. I'm always impressed every time they come out with an expansion. Like with 11 expansions, you feel like, well, this has all been tried before. Like we're done. This is plenty. But I mean, like I loved Dark Ages adding in, interacting with the trash and all that kind of stuff. So I still really love Dominion. It's still my favorite deck builder, and I'm always excited to explore new parts of it. Speaking of games that I love, Flamme Rouge has its first expansion coming out, and it is Flamme Rouge Peloton. In this, it's going to add more pieces and cards, so you can play up to 6 players, or there's alternate rules so that if everybody only plays as 1 cyclist, you can play up to 12 players. It's also adding solo rules, so a lot of kind of like new ways to play the game. It's also going to introduce new pieces that are mainly the most interesting one to me was the cobblestone streets, where you can't slipstream on the cobblestones, and oftentimes they narrow down to 1 lane. So there's going to be a lot more kind of like jockeying for position going into those. So I absolutely love Flamme Rouge. It's a game that I introduce new players to all the time. One of my favorite games. Very, very excited about the first expansion. This week's Kickstarter is for Visitor in Blackwood Grove. This is a cool theme. It's basically E.T. or like the 80s Kids on Bike style, where an alien's crash landed and you're a kid and you're befriending the alien and gaining trust with the alien, but then there's these like government agents that are trying to like capture the alien, and you're trying to help the alien not get captured. The way it does it is one person plays the visitor, one person plays the kid, and then everyone else plays the agents. And there's a force field barrier around the crashed spaceship, so you're trying to like develop a form of communication. So the visitor comes up with a secret rule on the cards where like only things pass through the force field that are metal, or only things pass through the force field that have red on them, things like that. So you're trying to, by giving the visitor cards that are either going through or not, you're trying to figure out this puzzle. If you're the kid, you're trying to do it before the agents. If you're the agent, you're trying to do it before the kid. But if you're the kid, the alien can give you some clues and extra hints and stuff as you build friendship and trust. So cool idea for integrating the theme into the game. It has really, really nice artwork as well. So if that interests you, it is $17 right now on Kickstarter, so go back that. Alright, that's the news for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you follow me on social media. I'm at Chris Bryan Games on Twitter and Instagram. And make sure you check out my Patreon, because that's the way I'm able to do this stuff. Thanks to my very generous patrons. Yeah, that. I'm going to skip the question this week, because I think it already might have gone long, because there was more news than normal. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next week.